Hello, everybody. I'd like to start off this summer term by giving you a little tour of the class and showing you how I've designed the course. A lot of students have trouble when they take a online course because they've taken another online course, and the way that teacher designed the course isn't the same as the way the next teacher designed the course, and students expect them to all look the same. And sometimes the teachers have expectations too. The teachers think, oh, the students are all going to get it. I've designed the course. And then you realize later, every student engages with the interface differently. I'll share a story with you. My own wife registered for a course that I designed. And as I watched her interact with it, I was appalled because I was just assuming that all students would come onto the website, start on page 1, read page 2, read page 3, just kind of work their way down the course. And she did it completely differently. She started looking at the due dates and the calendar and just wanted to start working on the things that were due because she had taken another online course and that seemed to work in that course. It's different for everybody. It really is. So a little bit of patience from the teacher and a little bit of patience from the student. We'll get through this together. And I think by the time you get into week 2 and 3, you'll be very used to the way I have designed this course. It'll make a lot of sense to you. Week 1's a little different because I have a lot of things to introduce you to. So let's take a quick look at this right away. I'm going to share my screen. And at the very top of the course, you can always click. See where the cursor is? This area that says home right there. I'm moving it around. And at the top of the course, I have a welcome page. Hopefully you've all seen that. This is the syllabus. You're supposed to read the syllabus and then eventually take the syllabus quiz. This is important. I have the due dates of all 4 papers and your portfolio and final exam. I'm going to click that so you can see it. I would recommend that you create either a paper calendar or a digital calendar on your laptop or cell phone or wherever you keep your dates, and that you don't depend on the Canvas calendar, that you also have other calendars to work with. You could even print this out on a piece of paper, put it somewhere where you can refer to it, but all of the due dates are carefully planned out in a sequence so that you don't feel like you're overwhelmed. And so you'll notice I have a slightly unusual policy. I'll explain more later. I publish a due date, and then I offer you the opportunity of earning an extension of 7 days if you work with the Writing Center. I realize this is very unusual. We'll talk about it later, but I do kind of believe in the best writing comes from a cycle of writing a draft, getting some peer feedback and revising. And the peer feedback comes from the team of teachers at the Writing Center. Let's look at this page again. You can always go back to home. It's in the upper left-hand corner. Click that home, and it will always take you right back to this page. Here's where you can get an appointment with the Writing Center. I've got the links right there. Before week 1 even starts, I have a message for you. Please correspond with me about the novel that you're going to read in this class. About half of the students already corresponded with me and started reading the novel because I sent everybody an email saying, hey, if you want to get a head start. I have sprinkled frequently asked questions throughout the course because I know that students always have questions. I've had somewhere around 5,000 or 6,000 online students. I can anticipate the questions that you will be asking. And so most of them are in here. Never hesitate to ask me a question. If you don't understand things, send me an email. But first, read through the frequently asked questions, and you might find that they are answered already in that section. All right, so here's a typical week, starting with week 1. I have some notes, and then I have kind of foreshadow what's going to come up in this week. Then I have a lecture content area. And this is where I was assuming my wife and everybody else would come on here and read this almost like a book, literally one page after the next. So if you click here, my lecture content starts. There's usually a little video embedded, a lot of words to read. And then you get to the bottom of the page, just like a book. Bottom right-hand corner, you click next, It takes you to the next page. You read that page. When you get down to the bottom right-hand corner, you click next. It's very sequential. Some students kind of read it in random order, and that sort of works. It's sort of like flipping through a book and reading page 6 and then going back and reading page 2 and then jumping to page 10. And the person who wrote the book didn't intend for you to read it that way, but I must confess, when I read books, that's kind of how I read them. So I understand if you don't read the course in sequence, but it actually is designed so that each page builds to the next page. Okay, so there's that, the lecture content area. After the lecture content area, in every week we have, let's go back to the home page. So here's the lecture content, and then every week we have some quizzes. And the quizzes, we'll talk about them more in another video, but don't worry too much about them because they don't really affect your grade that much. They're mostly teaching and review instruments, okay? Then we have discussions, and these are really important. I've designed them to help you generate material that you can use in your essays. And then there's some supplementary things, usually at the end of the week. And then here comes week number 2. And there's an overview of what's going on in week 2, more lecture content, more lecture content. It looks like a lot, but out of all of these pages, this is the equivalent of a 20-page chapter in a book. It's not as much as it looks like. Some more quizzes, again, to help you review. Some more exercises, generating and discussion exercises. This is important because I know that everybody's going to be sending me emails going, what is my class ID number? What is my password? How do I get registered for Turnitin? It's here in week 2, and you will be submitting your essays through the website turnitin.com. It's all right here. I can guarantee that even though I've put it here in this video, I'm going to get at least a dozen emails saying, how do I submit a paper to Turnitin? Where do I find my password and my enrollment key and my class ID number? And I'm going to say, I had it here in the video. I thought you would figure it out. That's okay. I'm very patient. I'll just send you an email saying it's in week 2. I'll look for that section that says registering for Turnitin.com. Sometimes I break the weeks up into different sections and different focuses. You'll see in week 2, I have a whole section that focuses on revision. Now we're moving on to week 3. One other thing about summer school, as we start getting toward the end of the semester, you'll notice that I have started to break things up so that between week 5 and week 6, I want you to do something. That's because in an 18-week semester, it's pretty easy to chunk things into 7-day sections. But in summer school, we're squashing down an 18-week semester into 8 weeks. And so sometimes we have to accelerate things and things need to get done sooner. So I try to pace things so that you have 7 days to do most exercises, but sometimes I can't wait that long, or you can't wait that long because you need to do this exercise before you get to that exercise. So pay attention to the pacing. It will be on your Canvas calendar when things are due, but it's always a really good idea to read ahead and even work ahead if you want. I have mentioned many times that summer school really demands a commitment of somewhere between 15 and 20 hours a week. So if you've only spent 10 hours doing the exercises, you probably have another 10 hours to read ahead. If you're in week 2, read ahead to week 3, maybe even do some of the exercises from week 3 so you won't slip behind. I really want you to succeed. And I think that's a very strong message that came through on my syllabus and everything else that I do in this class. I want you to have fun. I want you to enjoy the literature and not approach it like it's a chore or something that you have to do just to get a grade. If you do have 15 to 20 hours a week, you'll have plenty of time to really savor the the learning, and that's important. I want you to enjoy the process. Hope that makes sense. After reading all this stuff and listening to my videos, if you have questions, don't hesitate to send me one. I'll be happy to answer.